Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Choir Leader in a Kayak. Do 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 ba. Yes, those are the opening phrase to Africa, because it's been rather rainy, hasn't it? I hope you've stayed dry. So this time last week I was on the windy coast in Norfolk, and now I'm back in the very, very rainy river, and the forecast today is very rainy indeed, so I've come out nice and early, but I'm also hoping to come out later on this afternoon with some friends, so we shall see. This week's episode is all about risk assessment and interpretation, and as many of you will be aware, that choir leaders now are in that position of assessing risk around going back to face-to-face rehearsals, and much of that risk assessment is going to be to present the venues with our plan for going forwards with COVID-19. And of course we know that for some people they will have to make their own risk assessment around what they will feel comfortable and uncomfortable doing. But so if you are one of my choir members, do rest assured that I am busily preparing my risk assessments and continuing to discuss with our rehearsal venues as to the likelihood of being able to return to some form of rehearsal. And that will happen when the time is right. But fingers crossed, I will know something next week, so we'll see what that news is. So that's all about forecast, isn't it? Sometimes we just have to wait and put all of our ducks in a line and hope that the forecast and the risk assessment we have made is going to enable us to do the things we want to do. So if you're planning on coming on the river this afternoon with me, there's about 5 of us coming out this afternoon, and we're all aware that the forecast is not very good. However, if we tog up and we try to make a good plan so that we're equipped, I think hopefully the rain will be kind, or we'll get a little bit wet. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today was interpretation and survival, actually, interpretation and survival, because we can all look at a forecast or things that are in front of us and interpret them in very, very different ways, can't we? And I think music is a fine example of that. This week I sent a recording of myself singing a song that I have written. It's called The Mermaid's Last Farewell, and I really wanted the recording to share with the public, to be that of a younger person, not my voice. And so I handed it over to a fantastic young female vocalist, and she sent me back the recording this week of herself singing my composition. And it was a very, very beautiful moment to understand how she had interpreted the text. Obviously, she couldn't just change the melody or the chord progression, but she interpreted the text in exactly the way I would have hoped. And it was really beautiful and magical and haunting to hear her sing it. She also added a flute part, and again, the way she'd interpreted my music and added something of herself, of her own musicianship, was really wonderful, and I really look forward to sharing the end result with everybody, and I hope that you like it as much as I do, and that it resonates somehow with you. Interpretation is really all about looking and listening and understanding how something resonates for us. So if the forecast of 42% rain, that might feel absolutely a no-go area for somebody, but for somebody else it might feel more than acceptable. So forecasts and interpretations are really, really important tools to have. I think that in the music world, interpretation is often about really good listening, and the young woman that recorded my song this week had clearly listened to the piece of music and added her own voice, her own singing voice, and the voice of her flute, and it's made the song absolutely come to life. So have a good look at the forecast, make a good risk assessment, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Lots of love. Bye-bye.